Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday, August 29th in the year of 2022, and this is Coffee and Crypto Live. I just want to thank every single one of you guys who are here watching and anyone who's watching it back, because the whole future of this channel, we are seeking to become the best community in all of crypto. Not just YouTube, but everywhere it is, and we couldn't do it without each and every single last one of you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and if you already have, thank you for smashing that like. If you haven't, go ahead and do it. Smash that like, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel for crypto content that is fun and positive each and every single day to keep you up with the markets. We're going to have a good day today. Got a good show lined up, but I want to introduce my staff first. I'm joined by T. Shroom, the king of the market pulse, over to my right.
Aloha to you. Good to be here.
Aloha, yes. And I got joined by our technical director, everybody's favorite, Smay the Turtle King. Smay over here on my left.
Hello.
Got that mustard background still, or the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see. Football. Speaking of Pittsburgh Steelers, football. College football started this weekend, so shout out to college football being back. Sorry if you're from Nebraska. That was depressing to watch, and I'm not even a fan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It was very painful, and they don't want to hear about it anymore. But we got a good show lined up for you guys today. A lot of stuff going on. Of course, over the weekend, we kind of talked about this on Friday. Bitcoin was kind of sitting at a crossroads of saying, are we going to be able to rally and cancel out a bear flag, or are we going to fall to it? And sure enough, it did, falling as low as 19,500 before we found some support. And currently, we're actually on a little bit of a short rally at back over 20,000, 20,100 actually at this moment. I'm saying it. But the question on everybody's mind, because we dropped so quickly, is, are we potentially heading for a new bottom? And just because the price has rallied again this morning does not mean that fear is over. Now, right now, the sentiment in the market is still positive. I actually put a tweet out this morning over my Twitter page. You guys can follow me at Tims_TA, that says that right now, the sentiment in the market, despite the price dropping, actually is still leaning more positively, more bullish. And I do believe that as long as we have the prices falling with still a positive outlook, there's a good chance we still have a little bit farther down to go. You guys know I talked about it last week. I actually am looking maybe a little bit closer at a $19,000 price, but I want to hear what you guys think down in the comments. But before we get going, we got to do some of our favorite things, get the morning kind of warmed up. So we're going to read some green names. We're going to hear from our sponsor, and I have a question I'm going to ask my two co-hosts just to get the morning going, and I want to hear your guys' answers in chat. But first, Smay, let's go ahead and start off with our green names and our sponsors for this show.
I would love to do that, Tim. Guys, green names. Let's read them. All right, so here we have Mitch Shaw. We got Matt C. We got Sultan of Salt. We got a welcome to Jebb Youngling, Justin Eubanks. We got Sultan of Salt. We got Adam Rourke. We got, who else we got here? Tyler Main. A mellow fellow, Shavango Lay, Freedom Advocate? What? Freedom Advocate? You advocate for freedom? That's great. Gia S. and so many more. Mike Lowry. I love all of you guys. You guys are the best. Go CJC, Shavango Lay, Win Peoples. I love all of you guys. You guys are the best. Grand River Incorporated, Queen, Mitch, CW, Catch Cats. I rapid fire you, baby. All right, that's all I have to bring you in terms of green names. But you know what else I have to bring you today? Tim, what are you wearing today?
Oh, I'm wearing my Get Hedge sweatshirt that is by the way, we're going to talk about just getting the product. This is a great sweatshirt. The material is fantastic. You guys should go buy some merch from Hedge as well.
That's right.
It is Get Hedge.
Get Hedge, that's right. And coincidentally, coinky-dinkly, that is our sponsor for today. So guys, if you wanted to DCA into crypto in the most lazy way possible, and by lazy I mean the best way possible, it is Hedge. Hedge literally allows you to devote a percentage of your payroll into cryptocurrency of your choice. Guys, it goes directly to your cold wallet, and we recommend Ledger personally. So if you don't have a cold wallet, check that link out in the description. But it just, boom, deposits right into your cold wallet of choice. You get to choose the percentages you want to devote to it. It is super great. It's super useful tool for DCAing. You don't have to think about it, and you don't even need your employer to know about it. You can set it up yourself. So it's the best thing since sliced bread. Since DeFi, it's the best thing. Back to you, Tim.
That's a great 1-2 combo. Get Hedge and then go get a Ledger and then save yourself exchange fees and just make an instant transfer. It would be beautiful. But we're about to jump into some crypto, but we got a little more coffee and get a little warmed up this morning. I don't know if any of you guys just woke up. You're kind of groggy, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to ask these two to give an answer, but I want to hear in the chat what your answer is. And it is a would you rather question, Superman edition. Well, superpower edition.
Superman edition?
Superpowered. I clarified. It's superpower. Would you rather have the superpower of super strength?
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and say it's like Superman level of super strength.
Ooh,
Gotcha.
that's significant.
Yeah, it's pretty
level
good.
of super strength.
Or your superpower is you can change into any animal at any time with its strengths and abilities and everything else. What would you rather do? Tisha, I want to start with you. Which superpower would you rather have?
I would rather have super strength because at that point I could be the best construction worker in the world and I could help build churches and hospitals and refugee camps and things like that to try to help people.
Wow.
It didn't say it came with any like contractor skills and knowledge of how to build
Yeah.
wings,
No,
but I love the
hammer really
heartbeat.
fast.
Yeah, you're right.
Really
you're right.
fast. It's just really strong.
Just one hit, that hammer would be.
Yeah.
He would hammer the screws in. Smay, how about you? Which one would you rather have?
I would have to say, I don't think super strength is that necessary for hammering things. I actually think that would actually be a negative in that sense because you'd overhammer things.
It's okay. It sounds like you have some to learn about super strength.
So my power of choice is definitely turning into animals because, guys, I don't know if you guys watch the PBS show Wildcrats, but it's about people who adopt the powers of animals, and it is super great because there's so many animals that have such interesting superpowers. I would totally want to, and then you can change sizes. You could literally be a fly on a wall. That'd be the best. All right.
Wow.
So, anyways,
All right. Well, we got a split room. with.
What about you?
Split it, Tim.
I would. As fun as it would be to be super strong, I think I'm going animals. I think that being able to be any animal at any time.
yeah, if you need strength, turn
because
into an
nothing
elephant.
about that strength says that you can stop a bullet or anything else. Animals, though, you could change into a rhino at one place and just bulldoze buildings. You can change into a fly. Anyway,
Well, you're not going to bulldoze buildings as a rhino.
Listen, the type of rhino I'd become, I'd bulldoze buildings.
If you mean like teepees, then sure.
We're gonna move on though. It was just an icebreaker. We're gonna look forward, guys. Every single morning we're gonna have questions just like that, just to get us going. But we're about to jump into crypto. A couple announcements before I throw it to T-Shroom though for our market pulse, and you guys are gonna find out all the news that is important. Our announcements I want to make sure you guys have is, first of all, at the end of the show, we will probably do at least one, if not two, 2-minute technicals. Now, don't go submitting the names right now, what coins you guys want to see. Wait till the end of the show. We will prompt you, and you guys should start flooding the chat with those coins you guys want us to do some 2-minute technicals on. But that is really exciting. The other one is make sure that you stay tuned because we have more announcements at the end of the show that you do not want to miss. So make sure you're still here. If you have to run, go grab more coffee, go take the kids to school, just tune back in at the end because you don't want to miss those announcements. With that being said, though, it is time to go to T-Shroom and get ourselves a good old market pulse.
Excellent. Well, if you are
Boys, you're officially in the market pulse.
Well, I was going to actually say that. So let's move on. So, Smay, if you can go to my screen, we'll go ahead and get started. Folks, we are entering into extreme fear land here with the fear and greed index ticking down to 24. So that is pretty extreme fear. And, it's 4 points lower than yesterday. And, it's ticking lower. And so you need to be aware of that. But if I'm looking at that, I'm thinking buy, baby. I'm thinking buy, especially on Bitcoin. All right, and then we'll move over to the September 21st, the all-important. This is the Fed rate predictor tool from the CME futures. If you don't know how it works, you can just check it out. Just type in Fed rate monitor tool. This is from investing.com. But essentially, this is continuing to predict 75 basis points, now at an increasing level. Previously, the probability yesterday was 61%. That has increased to 67%. So, folks, if you're not baking in a 75 basis point hike into your investment regimen, you're going to need to change your mind and start thinking about it like that, unless you have some insider data, and in which case, hit me up on Twitter DMs, and we can talk about that. All right, moving on to our first story here in the Market Pulse. Global crypto adoption exceeds 320 million users, according to a study. Let's dive in. Singapore-based AAA says the firm gathered data from more than a dozen reports and surveys to obtain the most encompassing and accurate set of statistics for their study. According to the firm's research, global crypto ownership rates stood at an average of 4.2% as of last year, translating to more than 320 million digital assets under users worldwide. So that's leading the charge of global crypto adoption in the U.S. with 46 million users, followed by India and Pakistan with 27 million and 26 million respectively. So that's kind of interesting. So first in the lead is U.S. and then India and then Pakistan. So very, very interesting little triad there. Looking at the impact of crypto across various industries, the study highlights that 85% of businesses based in the U.S. say enabling digital asset payments is a high priority. In addition, businesses that accept crypto payments witnessed a 327% increase in return on investment on average, and a surge of up to 40% of new customers just by enabling crypto for their business. So that is a pretty interesting story, and that's going to be our bullish start to the market pulse. And we're going to continue to move on. Investors irrationally oblivious to crypto trading risks, as says a Singapore's financial regulator. And let's go ahead and look. Before we do, I didn't know this was a real place. It's very futuristic garden there in Singapore.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very neat. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, the country's central bank and financial watchdog. So over there in Singapore, they were like, screw it. We're just going to put the central bank and the SEC together. And that's what they did. But they are considering adding extra protections for crypto users by making it more difficult to buy crypto. Here, let me protect you and restrict your freedoms, it says the Singapore authority. So via consumer suitability tests, limit access to credit facilities and credit facilities to reduce frivolous investments. So that's an interesting one that I want to learn more about in the future is customer suitability tests. So are you smart enough to trade crypto or invest in crypto? Maybe they're asking that question. But Mino said, I believe he's the director of that regulatory agency. Mino said many consumers still seem to be irrationally oblivious about the risks of crypto trading. Still, an outright ban is not likely to work. So at least he has tempered his pretty extreme perspective here, although I'm sure he has access to the data, some decent data on Singaporean crypto traders. But he's calling them out here, saying that they're irrationally oblivious. So maybe there's just a ton of low altcoins that are getting traded there in Singapore, and he's trying to do something about it. So part of me says good for him, but the other part of me is like, well, let's kind of pump the brakes here on regulation there. But he seems like he has a level head about it going forward there. Ether may continue to lose momentum until merge is completed. B of A says, B of A, of course, being Bank of America. So we want to pay attention here. They have a lot of money under management. Ether's price jump from mid-May until mid-August may continue to fade as investors seek to better understand the implications of the merge. Ethereum's tech upgrade that will transform to a proof-of-stake network along with future blockchain upgrades, Bank of America said in a note Friday. In addition, the investment bank expects rival blockchains such as Binance, Tron, Avalanche, and Solana to gain market share until Ethereum overcomes its current headwinds. Current headwinds, of course, meaning the questions that traders and investors are asking about what will happen when the merge takes place. And we talked about this a little bit last week, but there's some centralization issues that weren't necessarily known by the retail market, just by everybody who's trading. It was only really known by the developers and kind of the folks who've been down in the details. And now those details are kind of surfacing, and people have questions about the merge. Personally, I think that yes, there are definitely issues around centralization, but Ethereum is just a different animal from Bitcoin. I think Ethereum, it's going to emerge as really the pillar, the tree trunk, if you will, of Web3, and it's going to have a different role to play from Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin, it's much more essential for there to be decentralization, and obviously with Ethereum, it's extremely essential that it has decentralization too, but maybe not to the same extent. So that's my opinion as of now. That opinion is definitely subject to change. Tim, what's yours?
I think something to keep your eyes on with Ethereum is at first there's a lot of sentiment out there that Ethereum 2.0 was going to be this massive deal, and that even when it launched, it was going to continue to skyrocket up. And I even saw some influencers use the context of going back and looking at August 4th of I think it's August 5th of 2021 when EIP 1559 hit. Now, those of you who were around, you guys remember EIP 1559 came. It was really exciting, much talked about, and then the price of Ethereum went up. And I've seen a lot of people using that as an argument to say, well, guess what? The last time we had a big upgrade. We went up in price. The problem with that, though, is that Ethereum 15, the EIP 1559 was right around the same time that Bitcoin was pumping, recovering from that massive summer dip on its way back up to setting a new all-time high. So what I am noticing, I just want to let you guys know, keep your eyes on this. I actually think this could be limiting the bearish action that Ethereum gets, is that there were so many people so bullish and so hyped about Ethereum, but I was one of the ones who was saying, hey guys, there's not actually significance coming here. I think this is going to be a sell the news type of thing. So many people are bullish. Traders are going to manipulate that and send the price back down. With that bullish sentiment, we're actually going to dip afterwards. We're seeing the sentiment start to shift, and I think people are waking up to the fact that Ethereum 2.0 is not going to release some crazy new speed to the Ethereum blockchain. It's not going to release and give us lower gas fees. I think that we're going to actually start to see the price kind of bake in to the fact that Ethereum 2.0, the only thing that's really happening is the switch from proof of work to proof of stake. And potentially it could actually minimize some of the downfall, or at least make it early to where, it won't be this massive dip. We'll talk about this in the TA section. I still think I've seen a couple other analysts talk about that $1,200 level that I've discussed. We'll take a look at that with Ethereum. But just so you guys know, the sentiment on Ethereum is switching. And I actually think that's a good thing long term, because anytime you're just overly bullish, but there's not the fundamentals backing up, that's when you're setting yourself up for massive losses if you are trading up there. We're coming down to earth early with this sentiment. I actually think that's a good thing to help protect a lot of traders' investments. Take that and do with it what you will, but I call that a good thing long-term for Ethereum to temper expectations. Back to you, T-Shim.
Absolutely. An astute point of view once again from Tim. But we're going to jump back into my screen here where crypto coin AVAX has dropped 11% after self-described whistleblower says Avalanche weaponized litigation against rivals. An interesting accusation here. Let's dive in. AVAX dropped to the lowest since July 13th on Monday after a self-described whistleblower website accused Ava Labs paid lawyers to hurt competitors and keep regulators at bay. On Friday, CryptoLeaks, a self-proclaimed whistleblower, published a report saying some years ago, New York-based Ava Labs focused on developing Avalanche's ecosystem, and law firm Roche Friedman made a deal under which Friedman would collect confidential information of rival companies and trap them under class action lawsuits in return for massive amounts of AVAX token and Ava Labs corporate stock. So some very, very puzzling and pretty steep allegations here. This could have massive repercussions. We know that this type of thing happens in the world where, massive corporations will lobby and make sure that their competitors don't get to enter a market and steal their market share. I think this is the first that I've seen a crypto kind of being accused of doing something like this. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, so CoinDesk getting ahead here, covering this. This is definitely a pretty big story. We'll see how this one goes. Right now, it's kind of anybody's say. But Tim, what's your take on this?
This is actually really big in the news. When we were doing SEO work this morning with our data guy, he was saying, the big stuff right now is Bitcoin. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin, which everyone's always talking about Bitcoin. But the other one was AVAX. Reading into this story, and I'm not saying I don't want to minimize it, but I do think this is a story. Give this 2 or 3 months, and people will forget about it. I still think AVAX is a good project long term, and so anyone who's looking at that 11% dip, part of that is going to be not just this news. It was also because the rest of the market dipped. And I think this is a story. It's really important that we cover it because this is what a lot of people are asking questions about. But anyone wondering how significant this news is, this is just a headline that we've seen before from other projects, and you've already forgotten what those accusations were before. I think, again, let's cover it. Let's talk about it. At the same time, though, I'm not going to be surprised here in November if people are just absolutely loving AVAX again and everyone forgot about this story.
You've heard this headline before?
Well, I'd heard about it this morning when we were reading through it.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, I'm saying what I was saying was other projects that have had not this exact story, but other negative stories come out. We've forgotten all about them.
Yeah, I mean, Binance is still under investigation from the SEC, but nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about the investigation on Coinbase. So interesting stuff. I hear what you're saying, Tim. This might be a decent time to buy if you're a speculator. It might be a good time to buy if you're thinking, hey, AVAX is actually operating above board. This whistleblower is kind of talking out of the side of their mouth, or they're just wrong, or their allegations aren't going to be enough to bring down AVAX in the long term. Could be a good time to buy. moving on. The first part of this, we're not going to worry about the bond yields. We're just going to look at the way that CNBC has kind of distilled their interpretation of the big meeting on Friday from the Fed with Jerome Powell there in Wyoming, Jackson Hole. All right, Fed Chair Powell signals further interest rate hikes. Powell said that the U.S. Central Bank will use our tools forcefully. And this apparently word forcefully is a term that the Fed has not used in a while or at all, according to CNBC this morning. But to attack, they're going to use their tools forcefully to attack inflation that is still remaining near its highest level in more than 40 years. He acknowledged that rising interest rates will cause some pain to households and businesses. So really continuing the same tone, but maybe even being slightly more aggressive with the use of the word forcefully. And of course, as we saw this morning, the market is continuing to interpret, as the dust settles, interpret that Jackson Hole meeting as pretty hawkish, meaning it's going to be more aggressive in its interest rate ascension, making those interest rates higher. Now, I want to throw it over to Tim to kind of see what he has to say about this story.
Yeah, I think this is another one. Keep an eye on this developing, because this could be a left curve. This should be like a curveball, like out of left,
Out of left field?
Nope, because you don't pitch from left field. I'm not the most baseball guy. I was trying to get a scenario. All right, let's just start this over. T-Shroom, back to you. Throw it back to me just a second. I want to retake my take.
I want to get Tim's take on this story.
Thank you, T-Shroom. This could be an absolute curveball, because this is the first time that we actually are getting guidance from the Fed that's extremely hawkish. Everything we've had up to this point, when they were kind of giving us their idea of what is coming in the future, they actually get pretty dovish, and then we get right up to the day, and then they have to act hawkish. And you guys know this. We've been covering this. Jerome Powell has notoriously been trying to keep himself in a place where he doesn't lock himself in a decision, and he keeps everything positive and gives people confidence in the future of the economy. This is the first time in between interest rate hikes that we're actually getting a negative feeling and a hawkish reaction out of the Fed. Could this be a curveball that literally, where we are used to dovish content coming up to the meeting and then we get hawkish numbers? Are we getting hawkish announcements, and then we're going to get this crazy number? They're going to come out and say 50 basis points, because they've actually been very vague with their terminology on what a high interest rate actually is. Like, we just assume that means 75 or 100, but they haven't clarified. For all we know, Jerome Powell and the Fed think that 50 is ridiculously high, and they don't think that that's a calm down. So we still have 3 weeks before we actually get numbers from the Fed. This is far from over and far from certain. I know the numbers are saying 67%, are predicting 75 basis points. 3 weeks away, in all reality, guys, that doesn't really mean much to me. I'm continuing to watch this story develop as it goes on.
Absolutely. And we will get the interest rate on the 13th interest rate. We will get the inflation rate on the 13th of September, and that's going to be extremely determinant. If that has plunged significantly, then that could be a big indicator that the Fed won't be as hawkish. But by then, they may have already made up their minds. May, if you could go to my screen really quick, just while we're still in the macroeconomic world, I have this is the oil chart pulled up, right? So this is, and it's pretty correlative to inflation, oil is. And I wanted to just point out that in June, where we had some of the highest inflation, being reported at around, what was it, 9.1%. This is where oil really was. So this is this is the month of June. So really kind of peaking out the oil prices here. Now it was higher earlier in the year, but that was June. And then July, you get this chunk here of trading just above this major line of what was at that point support. But then it flipped down and became resistance. And as you can see right here, we are now testing that resistance, and we failed to flip that back into support back last week. But look here, this is what is important. This is why I'm bringing this to your attention. In the month of August, we have been below this line. And so what I'm thinking is the September print for inflation could be significantly lower, because it's come down so far from June, and it's lower than July, and it's spent this entire time down here below this 95 line, and it's only now coming back and peaking back above it. But I think that the way that inflation works is this oil price trickles down to the economy, And eventually what happens is that then gets distilled down into the inflation number. And so what I'm thinking is the inflation number for August is going to be pretty low. It's going to come in really, really low unless there's something else in the economy that has spiked. I know natural gas prices have spiked in Europe, but I'm guessing that hasn't trickled into the U.S. economy significantly at all. So what I'm thinking is we get a pretty low print in September 13th for August, and I think that could potentially lead to a less hawkish Fed. And but even despite that, I still think that Jerome comes out with 75 basis points on that's just the way I think that cookie crumbles. But let's end off with even more bearish headline here. Looks bare. OpenSea turns into NFT ghost town after volume plunges 99% in 90 days. Really not looking good here for OpenSea. Volume plummets to yearly lows. Notably, the marketplace processed nearly 5 million worth of NFT transactions on August 28th, approximately 99% lower than its record high of 400 million on May 1st, according to DApp Radar. The falling floor prices, the minimum amount one is ready to pay for an NFT of leading digital collective projects, is also lower. For instance, the floor price of the Bored Ape Yacht Club has dropped by 53% to 72 ETH on August 28th versus the high of 153 ETH on May 1st. And if you take a look at this chart, I think it's a little unfair to compare the anomaly of the high of 153 ETH to where we are now, but you can see the floor prices have definitely come down precipitously. And I can only assume in this bear market they aren't going to come back. But you can leave my screen, folks. This has been the Market Pulse, and before we leave, I wanted to get Tim and Smay's point of view on this NFT story. So Tim, take it away and then throw it over to Smay when you're ready.
I'm interested to know what people think in chat. So I want to hear people's thoughts in chat because you guys, our community, and we're growing in this. This is actually something Smay's working on, is really getting more engaged with the NFT community. But I know a lot of our family in our community is very involved in NFTs. I want to hear your thoughts, but I'm going to kind of tee off and throw it over to Smay for a second, and then we're going to jump into TA here in just a minute. If you guys just joined looking for technical analysis, it is coming. We haven't done it yet. Stay tuned. But I've been very adamant about my thoughts of the technology and NFTs being a significant part of the future of how the business world works. I think it's going to be phenomenal. The question I have is, are we seeing potentially the end of that kind of like euphoria feel of how new it was? So like there were so many things being sold for millions of dollars that in all reality, we kind of all sat here saying, why did that just sell for millions of dollars for hundreds of ETH? That didn't really make a lot of sense. My question to you, the community, I'm going to throw it over to Smay now, is that initial just fantastic, like our initial euphoria of NFTs, is that dwindling, and are we about to transition into more use case NFTs? I'm very fascinated to hear what Smay thinks about that.
Well, I think we all saw this coming, in my opinion, because the fact of the matter was the market was heavily inflated. It was in a huge bubble of the fact that people were just making these generative projects, and with whatever little cartoon character you had with different hats and whatever, and that was about it. And the whole idea was just to get in on the fad and the hype beast nature. It's the same, similar with sneaker culture, where it's like you have to get the newest types of colorway of Jordans, whatever, and it's like you're gonna pay thousands of dollars for it. I think it was the similar culture, and now that we're hitting kind of economic rough seas, especially in the crypto market, that kind of starts to die away because you don't have you're not in a bull market. You don't have all this extra Ethereum and whatever to start spending on these things. Now, I think we're starting to settle into the future that we saw for NFTs, which is use case, right? Now, I think community is absolutely still a use case of NFTs, right? I think we're still going to see projects like Bored Ape Yacht Clubs or things like that still exist, but they start to hinge towards storytelling or community building exclusivity rather than just hinging on just you by owning it. You're a part of this. You're a part of this exclusive club. I think it's going to actually have a lot more use case to it. I think you're going to see a lot more traditional art start to bleed more into NFTs using it. I think people like Beeple. I think those kind of artists are going to continue to thrive because the fact of the matter is digital artists have existed for years. There's been an economy in art for years. NFTs are a way of basically taking that digital, allowing digital artists to be able to profit off their artwork. I think that's going to continue to be a thing. I think you're going to see a lot of use case based NFTs, similar to what Pennyfly Entertainment is doing. I think you're going to see all kinds of stuff like that, and I think we're starting to settle into a more mature NFT market. Okay. So it's I think OpenSea. I mean, I've been dabbling with OpenSea. You know, I've been getting into my NFT stuff, and I think it's not a surprise to me at all that it's starting to see a lot of more of a ghost town. You know, it's starting to see its ebbs and flows, because the fact of the matter, it's super inflated. I mean, what were we looking at the other day was like a bunch of people posting videos of their dogs pooping and minting it as an NFT. You know what I mean? It's like it's that is going away. Right? The people trying to copy the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, it's not original. So I think we're just seeing a more mature NFT market, and it's going to settle into what it's going to be. Yeah. So this is the time to start really considering the projects that you're investing in.
I think you're 100% right, Smay. I think, you know, what you said right there with concepts of, you know, what Pennyfly Entertainment is doing with, you know, concerts. There was someone in chat talking about, you know, houses, like deeds of houses, deeds of cars. You know, I think the use case of it's going to be really there. I think celebrities are going to really be able to take advantage of it still. I still think if you're a famous person,
well, absolutely,
you can do almost anything, and people are going to want to touch on that. You know, obviously the NFL just started there. They just opened their new line. I think that's going to be really interesting. Where I think they had it, like, you can own, like, clips. Like, I saw a commercial of Mahomes kind of talking about you can buy the NFT of the clip of their winning drive against the Bills. That's, I think, for all the NFL fans out there, it's going to be a very valuable clip to own. So it's kind of cool. We'll have to see how that goes in the future. We're about to jump into TA real quick, though, Smay. I just noticed your shirt is a perfect match to your wall.
It is.
Like, it is the exact same yellow. That's crazy. Go to your screen real quick. I want people to just admire the matching of your wall. It'd be really cool if there was a lot more black on that shirt. That you'd be
there is.
Balance.
Look at all this black on
That's
the
like
shirt.
A faded gray. Yeah, that's not.
It's definitely black.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys, we're about to jump in and do some TA. That was a longer market pulse, but there was some really exciting stuff happening. There's some exciting stuff on the charts as well, but we wanted to make sure we covered all of the news. We're going to go ahead and jump over and do some technical analysis. So if that's something you love, smash that like button. Thank you to everybody who is here. Real quick, before you go to my screen, Spade, don't go yet. We got 750 people watching, 239 likes. We can get more likes on that for sure. So go ahead and smash that like button if you love some TA, and we're going to jump over here on the charts. You know, I'm starting out here on the 4-hourly chart on Bitcoin. I have Lux Algo up. I think this is going to be really important to keep an eye on. You know, Lux Algo is saying that we potentially have a buy signal going as high as back to 20,900. You know, it has the top of it going back up above 22. The reason I don't think we'll get that high is because I do believe we're in a secondary downtrend. Meaning ever since we peaked out here at 25, we've been heading down. I think we're going to see some lower highs and lower lows like we've been setting as we head down towards that 19,000. I will admit, we got a lot lower than I thought we would. I thought we were going to kind of hesitate around 20,000 and then rally back up to around 21 and then fall. You know, the fact that we came down to 19.5 was a little lower than I thought we would go. But we did, and it looks at this point that we are headed back up, and you're going to see that on Ethereum, you're going to see that on Cardano, you're going to see it on all of them. Some interesting things. We might just do a Bitcoin and Ethereum today, maybe save Cardano TA for another day, unless that's what you guys choose for 2-minute technicals. But let's look at some other things that I'm keeping my eyes on. I'm going to go to the hourly chart, keep Lux Algo on here for just a second, and then I'll take it down. So Lux Algo on the hourly chart is kind of saying it's already this little rally we've had. You guys can see our reversal zones are coming together. They're converging. We're already technically over the take profit on the hourly chart. Could we see a cool down coming very soon? You know, maybe we do get up around that 20,700, but we don't go back over 21,000. Again, I think hitting a lower high is more than likely on the table. We will keep you guys posted what's happening there. Also, look at the RSI. Now, this is just the hourly chart, so thank the Lord this is not anything bigger time frame, but we are setting up bearish RSI divergence. Look, this price is nowhere close to these peaks that we have over here, and yet the RSI is already above them. So keep your eyes out. I'm not saying this rally's over. I actually think this is one that on the hourly chart, as the volume starts to come in a little bit, not that it's the same kind of high volume we had back here on the 26th, but this volume is coming in. The RSI is climbing on the hourly chart. I think we're going to get above that 70 on the RSI. We're going to keep climbing. I think there's a very real chance that this little rally is going to take us back up close, if not to 21,000. This is what I called for last week when I said that we were dipping, and I still am going to hold to it. I believe that 21,000 is still in the cards of a fall. But this question that we had that everyone is asking, that I think is getting a little bit of a break right now, is Is the bottom still in? Is that 17.6, that I think is 17,534 or something like that, was that the bottom? Or are we headed towards setting a new one? It's not a question that I can give you a definitive answer. I wish I could, but that also would be called financial advice, and I'm not here to give you guys financial advice. I'm here to help you navigate the markets and make the right decisions for yourself. But here's what I do want to reiterate to you. If any of you are saying and looking at this rally and saying, oh, thank goodness, that was a rough fall, I'm glad it's over, I'm going to buy in now and ride this thing to 30,000, I think you're a little bit off there too. Again, like I just said, just because we're in a short rally right now does not mean this dip is over. This is all part of what happens in rallies. In the same way, when we came back down and we tested 20,800 back here in July 26th, did that mean that the rally was over? No. It was the dip before we went back up, and then we dipped, and then we went back up. Well, same thing when you fall. I think, so many people were used to, let me scroll out to the daily chart and take down this because that's just getting in the way at this point. Go out to the daily chart. I think we were used to this concept where we move sideways for so long and then quickly drop down. Let me spread out just a little more. Went a little too far. We went sideways and then quickly dropped down. That's not how every single dip goes. More often than not, dips in a healthy market where there's not a lot of manipulation going on, there's not a lot of craziness going on, there's not, exchanges falling and coins dropping 99%. When there's just some dips happening, they fall down, they rally up, they fall down, they rally up, they fall down. I'm still keeping my eyes on this $19,000 level or worse, and I'll show you guys again. I've shown this before, but if anyone missed my technical analysis, I'm going to do it again. There are multiple reasons why I think 19,000 or potentially even lower are in the cards. Let's start with the first one, and I'm being super conservative this one. So I'm going to show you a conservative prediction, and then I'm going to get a little more aggressive with it. Let's just start with this bear flag right here. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to redraw it. What I'm going to do is let's just start conservatively. Let's start at the breakout where we kind of had a little rally, and then we had a good drop here. That prediction right there, going down to the bottom of the flag and then moving it over and extrapolating where we'd go, would give us a price prediction of 19,146. Like I said, that is conservative. I've seen other people drawing this flag going all the way up to this peak, drawing down. This would give us a prediction, if we extrapolate it out, of actually lower down to about 18,000. So let's just focus right there. The bear flag is giving us a range of 18,000, 19,000. We have not hit that yet. Let's go over and look at some other metrics that potentially could send us down that far. Now, this is another one. I'm going to show you the conservative one, and then I'm going to get aggressive with it. The first one, let's go show you guys where we're in this rising wedge, which I'll go ahead and just flatten it out. I don't want to do the tilt because that'll throw things off. If we were going to go conservative, and I've seen technical analysts like Peter Brandt, for example, use it this way. I've been taught a different way, but I'm going to show you the conservative view of this point. So you're going to take this up to the top, to the 25,000. That is calling that maybe what we just hit is the bottom. So I will give them that 19.6, 19.5 area. That is what that is calling for. However, that's the conservative view. The way that I learned it and the way I've seen multiple technical analysts use this is you actually come down to the breakout on these rising wedges. The breakout of the support, that's where you start this line. That is calling for about an $18,400 prediction. So either way you look at it, conservative, maybe we could make an argument that we've bottomed out on this little rally, but I just don't think that's the case. I think when you're looking at sentiment even throughout the dip has stayed positive, I think that's more of an argument to say that we're going down further. But let's look at the last one, and that is just these two green lines right here pulling up our VRVP. VRVP is measuring volume range. So this is the visible range volume profile. That's what VRVP stands for. And when we came back here, I showed this last week when we were doing the show on Friday, I believe, that yes, we had some volume come up and we had some price happen above this green level right here at let's just call it 22,000. But in all reality, the majority of the volume during this dip has stayed above about 18.9, so let's call it 19,000, and let's call it about 22,000. We are headed down, and we found our little support in a little pocket, a little hole in the volume, but I think there's a very good argument with the momentum we've had with making a rally back up, maybe this level, so we're going to drop back down to the bottom of this $19,000 range, in which case, I think that potentially that could be a good buy spot if we can get some more good news in the space. Again, we're going to have to kind of play this out. This is a season where we're going to have to play with some sentiment type of psychology here. We got bullish sentiment in the market despite the fact that the price is falling. To me, that's actually bearish. But then as we talked about earlier in the market pulls, is this going to be a curveball where Jerome Powell's always been dovish, and then he gives the numbers and is hawkish. And he's like, oh, we got to make sure we're doing this well. But even in his reports, he'll make a hawkish number and raise the interest rate, but then reassure everybody it's all good, the economy's still strong. For the first time ever, we're seeing him actually get kind of hawkish, despite the fact that it's actually looking like the numbers of inflation and the economy are actually improving. Inflation does look like it potentially topped out. Now, I think we're long from saying it topped out, but if I'm just looking at the numbers went down last month, and as T. Shroom talked about when he was looking at the market polls, there's actually some arguments to say that the inflation could go down even further this month. And yet, Jerome Powell is getting pretty hawkish. Is that a fake out? Is that a thing where he leads up to these numbers being dovish and then goes hawkish, and now he's being hawkish and he's going to go dovish? We have to continue to watch this. Either way, what we do know is that institutions have gotten into the space. BlackRock has partnered with Coinbase. Off the top of my head, there's other ones that I'm forgetting what the names are, but you guys, let's just turn on our brains. Institutions are entering the space. This is bullish long term, but what do institutions do? They manipulate prices down to lower levels so they can gobble supply. It doesn't make sense to me to stop right here at 19.5 when they very clearly could go even lower. I mean, there's not a lot of volume here, but they could clearly go lower, back down at least to 19,000. If not, I think a good argument to go back down below 18,000 and gobble up some supply, and that is what they do. So we got to keep our brains on, we got to keep our logic on, and know, yes, there's some uncertainty with the economy. There's some uncertainty with what the Fed's going to do. There's some uncertainty with what institutions are going to do. We got to continue to watch this and play it out on the charts. We got to play it out on reason. And everything I'm looking at right now, I'm not ready to say that there will be a new bottom, but I'm not ready to say that we've hit the bottom on this latest fall either. I do think we will see at least a $19,000 Bitcoin price before it's over. But I'd love to know in chat what you guys think. That is all I'm going to do here right now on Bitcoin. But let's go ahead and transfer over. Let's go switch to Ethereum and see what's happening there, because there's some interesting things happening over on Ethereum as well. You guys see these lines that I drew. These lines have been up here ever since, I think we are falling here. So I drew these back on the 15th of August. So it's been almost 2 weeks now since these lines have been up, and these lines are playing out beautifully. If you don't know what these lines are, this is Fibonacci retracement, of which we're going to go to the bottom of this rally where that red wick is, go up to the peak, and I'm going to get rid of this because that's kind of distracting. Oh, look, I was pretty close. Look at these lines. We got our 0.236, which coincidentally matched right up with this very key level of 1,700 on Ethereum. That sure enough, we bounced right back up in that zone at that red line. If I zoom in for you guys see it kissed it just perfectly for retracement. We bounced candle body closes at this blue line, the 0.382, and then we just bounced at the 0.5 and we're rallying back up. Same thing with Bitcoin. I think we can go up a little higher. Watch Ethereum maybe get a wick over this level right here at 1554. But watch us reject it at 0.382 and start to head down to this golden pocket. And I told you guys earlier, I've seen analysts talk about this, and I have definitely said this. Let me take down my Fibonacci real quick. This right here, that golden box, that is the golden pocket, which Bitcoin and Cardano have already fallen to theirs, but Ethereum has not. The reason why other analysts are calling for this, and I have been calling for this ever since we started breaking out of our rising wedge, which, by the way, I'll play that one out for you guys here in just a second, is because this level right here, this $1,200 level, technically $1,271, but let's just, I'll say $1,300. Let's go $1,300. I'll round up. This was a flat top, a flat level of resistance all throughout the month of June and into July that we came about, and you don't have to turn form of resistance into support, but I guarantee you there's a lot of strength to doing so. And we never actually came back down. After we broke through this, let's call it 1,300, we never came back down retesting that level, but the golden pocket is calling for that level. We know that Cardano and Bitcoin and other coins have fallen to their golden pocket. Ethereum, riding that wave of positivity and hype for ETH 2.0, is starting to come back down to earth, and the hype is kind of wearing off. The people aren't as excited as they used to be. Could we see Ethereum actually start to drop down there? I believe the answer is yes. Let's just start, though, with how we would do these breakouts, though. Let's see what we would predict if we were using these numbers. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually find the widest part of this chart, and we're going to go up to here and to the first touch. I'm not even going to go crazy high and go up to these points. I'm going to start with right here. Let's just go right here and then predict this breakout. So conservatively, Conservatively, coming up to this top, this is predicting about a $1,319. So $1,319 Ethereum. If we break out, if we do it the more aggressive way, this is calling for actually going below that red line in the golden pocket down to $1,252. So if we're calling for that in Bitcoin, and we're going to see Bitcoin do maybe a $19,000 or sub $19,000 price, I think that Ethereum, it's very safe to say Ethereum should be doing the exact same thing. Let's look at what Luxalgo is saying, though, on these same charts, and then we'll kind of wrap out our TA before we get into some 2-minute technicals of your choosing. You know, we are under a buy signal right now with that nice little candle, but look how there's just not that much room. Just like I said, the take profit is sitting literally right above that blue level. I believe that was the 0.236 level. Maybe that's the 0.382 level. I think it's 0.382 level. Yeah, because that was 0.5. It's sitting right there for us to come up, touch it, and then continue our downward pattern. We're not going to get back above 1,700, which was this lower top we set back here a couple days ago. Just like Bitcoin, Ethereum is in a secondary downtrend where it's going to set lower lows, it's going to set lower highs, and this little rally is going to make a lot of people feel good unless they go and look at the charts, they look at the sentiment, they look at the news, and they realize this is actually just a bullish movement in a downtrend, a secondary downtrend to be specific. So that is all I have for you guys on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'd love to know in the comments, though, what you guys think. Technical analysis is an art, and not everyone agrees on it. It's funny how more often than not, most of us technical analysts do agree. We get to our numbers from different situations. But more often than not, we do agree. Let me know what you guys think of what you see on the charts, what you think of the news. What is your price prediction over the next couple of weeks? Do you think that Ethereum and Bitcoin are bullish, or do you think that they still have further to go to the downside? That being said, we're going to throw it back over to Smay for just a second. Let's get some super chats. And while we do the super chats, while we're reading those and answering those questions, go ahead and spam the chat. Let me know what coin. I might only do one due to time, but maybe I'll try to squeeze into what coin would you like to do some 2-minute technicals on before we wrap out today's stream.
Wowzers, Tim. What a great bout of TA. That really got my brain churning on these prices. Anyways, we have here from Kelly Kellum, a member for 13 months.
Whoa.
And he's also coincidentally been in my heart for 13 months, so we'll see. Then we have he said, howdy doody, everyone. Big love to all of you. Love the new branding. Me too. Love you all. Me too. Look forward to being back on with you again soon. Smiley
Wait,
face.
who is that?
Kelly.
Oh, Kelly Kellum. Yeah.
Kelly
I didn't hear the name when you first said it.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
So we're going to need to work on that one. So next here we
I'm
have...
trying to read the chat.
All right, next we have here from Tom Wilkes. He says, good morning, everyone. ... Great to see some old friends again.
Nice.
I miss me some Tom Wilkes. I actually got to email back and forth with him here a little bit last week. He has been extremely, extremely busy. But we love you, Tom. Thank you so much.
I really
for
just
being
want
here.
like a big hug from Tom Wilkes. I remember when we met him at Bitcoin 2022, like when he walked up to us, and it was, I remember that moment, and it was very enjoyable for me. All right, next we have here from Mike Markle, member for 10 months. Oh, that's so awesome. I love you guys. It says, obstacles give you the opportunity to overcome. What more can you want? Maybe a little bit less obstacles. Maybe like smaller ones, maybe that are easier to overcome. I don't know.
Maybe. I think the obstacles are part of the journey. Honestly, it actually makes you stronger. Like I think that anyone who made a lot of money during the end of 2020, 2021 bull run, and you look at how parabolic that run was, that was easy money. It didn't really make you work for it, and so it's one of those things.
Probably lost it.
That
Just as much
anything
as you got
that
it.
comes easy is not the best way to go about it. It's actually the days that there's a lot of volatility up and down, and there's a lot of decisions you have to make that'll make you into a stronger investor, a stronger trader for the long term. Because like I said, I was watching a video, I can't remember who talked about this, but they were talking about there were so many people that probably got invested in crypto right around that September, October area in 2020, before the rally started. And they just knew nothing but these parabolic runs. They were buying down around, 8,000, 10,000. And they don't really know what it's like to go through a bear market. And they don't really know what it's like to go through pain. And they thought, I thought crypto was supposed to be this easy world where I just buy low and then I just make a bunch of money. And it's like, no, there's a lot of patience, there's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of volatility in the crypto space that if you can learn to navigate that, then those parabolic runs, that'll become easy. That's just easy pick'ems. So
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like you probably gain that money really fast. You don't know the principles and the discipline behind it. You lose that money just as fast.
Yeah.
So that's all the super chats we have. But let's see if we can find some coins that people would like to see some TA
I
on.
saw a lot of XRP.
I saw a lot of XRP, and I'm also seeing a
lot of ADA.
Yeah, so I would say ADA.
Okay, we'll do it.
Hey, you said what the chat wants.
You know, the people get to choose. That is correct.
I'm seeing more Polygon than ADA, actually.
But
I'll tell you what. Keep an eye on. So
Polygon.
at this point, guys, while I'm doing XRP, what do you guys want? And I don't want to see anything but
let me put a poll.
Cardano
Let me put a
or
poll.
was it Polygon?
I'll put a poll.
Yep.
Put a poll, Polygon or Cardano, and by the time I'm done with XRP, we will jump over there.
All right. Go ahead and begin.
I know
All
what
right.
I'm voting for.
So we're going to go over here to XRP, and I'm going to start off on the daily chart, actually. I was on the 4-hourly chart. Let's start daily and just kind of zoom out, take a look at this. Even though I did some TA on it a couple weeks ago, just want to get a fresh eye. The first thing I'm seeing right off the bat is descending levels of support, so that's a good start. I can tell you right now, even though that means it's still bearish, I can tell you right now this is going to be a good start because I think what we're going to find ourselves in is a falling trading channel, if I'm not wrong. We're also, I could draw another line real quick here and just say, give me a minute though. I'm going to start over, let's start right here and let's go down here. Is this going to match up? I'm going to go ahead and actually just go ahead and match these. Sorry guys, TA sometimes you got to play around with some levels and I'm going to go ahead and choose that. So we're in a falling trading channel. You also could make a very good argument that we're in a megaphone as well. If I were to come back all the way to this point here and come down, we have several touches broadening out. And I'll turn that one blue for you just so you can see the difference in the two support levels. Either way, both of these are long-term bullish. Of course, I'm on the daily chart and I'm kind of, zoomed out here. So, stay with me. This does not mean XRP is about to just explode and go up. The truth is there's a lot of room that it could come down and either test this level of support or this level of support and still have a long-term bullish outlook. But keep your eyes on what's happening there on XRP. Let's go look at some other things real quickly on the RSI. We do not have any. At this point, we don't have bullish RSI divergence forming, so I do think potentially there's a good argument to be made that XRP could actually turn very bullish by getting its price to drop a little bit because it is close to these bottoms and the RSI is not. We could set up some daily bullish RSI divergence with XRP. Keep your eyes on what is happening there. Let's look at a couple of levels. We'll look at VRVP and we will look at Lux Algo. We're hovering right kind of in a nice little fat zone for XRP. Of course, the top being right where we rejected right there. And then potentially we could fall as low as about 30 cents. So again, I'll draw that line for you guys. That does mean we could drop a little bit more on XRP. But we don't have that much further to go before we kind of get to the bottom of that volume zone. So that's another level. I am keeping a very good eye. I think 30 cents is a very good buy spot, even if it dips down below. Even if it does come down, I think long-term 30 cents is a very, very solid spot for people to be picking up some XRP. Let's look at Lux Algo here on the daily chart. And we're under a strong sell order that does have us coming all the way down closer to these levels with the support levels down at 24 cents. Man, I would have to, obviously they still have the lawsuit going on, but I think it's a matter of when, not if, when the excitement and the hype will come back to XRP, because I do believe in this project long term. I do believe, and I think I love, some people still hate on them. Even if you don't like the tech of XRP or you should absolutely love that they are winning some battles for the rest of the cryptocurrency space. So whether you invest in XRP or not, you should go thank a local Ripple exec for fighting the good fight against the SEC. That will help win some battles down the road. Either way, there's kind of, I'm not necessarily looking at anything here and saying I'm super bullish. I think there's some hope that, the MACD's even kind of bland right now. There's a chance that it has some movement up, but there's also a chance it moves down. 4-hourly chart, it's not as big of a rally as we've seen over on Bitcoin or Ethereum. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I know you guys want to see some exciting stuff on XRP. The 4-hourly chart is close to that take profit on the sell order. No guarantee though that is going to finish. It could come down a little further. That's kind of, in my opinion, kind of some boring TA on XRP. That's one I would just be watching the Bitcoin chart. And then when you see something good on the Bitcoin chart, I think the rest of the space will kind of follow. What was the other one we decided? You're in that poll?
The poll says 65% ADA.
ADA. All right. Well, let's do it. ADA is another one that you got to kind of look at a couple things, and I'm not saying it won't. I'm going to give you guys the full-out bearish argument, and then also let you know there's a chance that it doesn't do that. So first of all, what you guys should notice, I'm going to show you three things here real quick. 3 different projects and just you guys tell me what you see before. So let's start with Bitcoin. I'll show you Ethereum and then Cardano. So that's Bitcoin. Just focus on this date and then current date. Look at this right here and then this. That's Bitcoin. That's Ethereum. This is Cardano. There's not really, the price of Cardano just did not drop significantly, which kind of solidifies a theory that I have because we've been moving sideways. There hasn't been a lot of bullish momentum on Cardano either, but it just doesn't drop very far. Like the bottom really seemed to have been 40 cents. Like I think 40 cents is a very strong level of support. Now, that's not what TA is necessarily saying, and I'll go ahead and show you the bearish nature of what we could see. Come on now, go for me here, chart. Cardano in the same falling, the rising wedge it was in, well up here, that Bitcoin was in. The conservative value is saying, okay, we might have bottomed out, but if we go all the way over here, we could see a price come all the way down to about 39 cents, give or take, from this rising wedge breakout. Notice the reason why we're not dropping crazy far with Cardano on that prediction is because it didn't rally very highly the way Ethereum and Bitcoin did. It kind of stayed mostly sideways. But here's the other one. Let's go conservative and more aggressive with our bear flag. So here's the conservative bear flag and the breakout. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Come on, blue line. This breakout would have us coming down to, oh, look at that, about 38 cents, just below that 39. Or we could get really aggressive with it and go all the way up to this peak, down to the bottom of that line. And then that's a more aggressive one that gives us a price prediction of 35 cents. Both of them absolutely plausible. But here's what I will tell you. For Ethereum to go sub 40 cents, because of the strength it is building, because there's just really no weak hands left in the space, hence the reason why this doesn't drop very far, new weak hands will have to be developed. And with the release of Vasil Hard Fork coming very soon, I don't think it was announced this weekend, but at this point, it almost sounds like Vasil is just waiting for all the SPOs to agree. Charles Hoskinson's ready. The team is ready, but that's how decentralized they are. They're not going to officially launch it until they get that agreement from the SPOs. With that bullish nature and news coming, and with the fact that we're so close to where I think that all the weak hands have been let out of it, something absolutely disastrous would have to happen for Cardano to go ahead and fall. Something like $11,000 Bitcoin, $900 Ethereum. That's what I think it's going to take for us to see those 38, 35 cent Cardanos. And I know some people are going to say that's me shilling Cardano. No, that's me looking at the charts, using my brain. Yes, I like Cardano, but I have a reason why I like Cardano, because they're such a good project. That's up to you, though, what you want to do investment-wise. You can go off my screen now, Smay. Let me know what you guys thought of those 2-minute technicals on XRP and Cardano. They probably went a little longer than 2 minutes, but that is okay. Do we have anything else, Smay, that we need to do before I give our closing announcement? There's some exciting ones that people want to hear, but is there anything else that I'm missing for the show?
Well, no.
Yeah, because I think we got everything else gone. All right, well, guys, that concludes today's Coffee and Crypto Live, but it does not conclude all the excitement of what we're doing here at the channel. Like I said in the beginning, just so you guys are on the same page as us, I had a great conversation last night with Matt C. You guys know him, you love him. I really want to see, and my goal for this whole channel is to become the #1 community in all of crypto. Whether that be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the stuff we're doing in Club DeFi, this is all one purpose, and is to build a community of people to learn and grow together, to invest wisely, to create financial sovereignty, which is where we have control over our money, not our money having control over us. But I cannot do it without all of you guys. So anyone who's already a part of our community, thank you so much. If you are wondering, Tim, how do I get to be more a part of this community? Well, you can start with some really easy things. First of all, you can watch and like all of our videos. If you want to go a step further, you can comment and then share those videos with your friends. And if you're like, no, Tim, I want to get even more involved, I want to spend some more time with you and the rest of the team, you guys can become members. And guess what's happening tomorrow at 11:15 is our membership stream. Our community membership stream is tomorrow at 11:15. You don't want to miss it. They're always a blast. It is going to be super exciting. So that's the first thing that I wanted to announce. The other thing is tonight, I was wrong last week. We're starting this new series called Crypto Foundations, and I thought we were ready to do it last week. After I got off the show, I was told by my team actually it was not going to be happening until this week, but tonight it is. Like, Zach, that video is edited. That's good. We're ready. Yeah, I'm looking at the screen. Tonight, 6 p.m., Crypto Foundations is coming out. You don't want to miss it. We're talking about Ethereum over there. It's a great video to go like, to share with your friends to help educate them. Other things we have. So I announced this on Friday, but in case you missed it, we got some great guests coming this week. Tomorrow, Tom Crown will be on the show. You don't want to miss that. On Wednesday, Caleb Franz is going to be joining. And by the way, spoiler, Caleb Franz is going to be joining every single Wednesday, so look forward to those. Wednesdays are going to be great days. And then Thursday, we will have our mission stream where every single dollar that you guys give in Super Chats will be going to Life for the Innocent. You'll hear more about them on Thursday. But Mark Yusko, brilliant man, will be joining the show. You don't want to miss any of that. And the last announcement that I have for you guys, actually I have two more. The last announcement before I get to the really big one, we're still accepting names for this guy right here. Some of my favorites have been Muggsy. Someone suggested Satoshi. I think that's interesting. We have to give a coffee kind of a spin to it. But we're still accepting name suggestions, and then eventually here, probably in a couple of weeks, we will have a community vote on what this guy's name's actually going to be. So make sure, submit those, leave those in the comment section. It's easier to go to see those in the live chat. So if you're chatting right now and giving us names, go back, hit a comment. What do you think we should name that guy? And the last one, and this is something that's really big for us. As I said, we want to build the greatest, the largest, the most amazing community in crypto space. But one of the things about community is that we care about one another. And so, in case you have not heard, we have a prayer wall here at our office. Whether you are religious or not, whether you love Jesus or not, we love Jesus. We believe in the power of prayer and of encouraging and uplifting one another. So if there's anything that you are struggling, going through right now that you would love a community to surround you with and love on you, submit that to support@cryptojebb.com. That prayer request will go on our wall. And I'm actually thinking about publishing that on our membership page so that all of our members can be praying and thinking about and encouraging one another as well. So if that is something that you love and you want, make sure email us today, leave us anything you want. And just by the way, I'm not going to give details. There's somebody in chat I want to give a shout out to, Cache Cats. His name is Dan. We love you, Dan. He had some really heavy news hit him this week. And I just want you to know, Dan, this is what we are here for. We are not here just for crypto. Crypto is amazing, but we are here to be support for one another. So I love you and your family. We are praying for you. Guys, that is all we have for you in this show, but we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.